She immediately throws down Ego's pot of water, and the pot falls on the floor, shattering into many pieces. Ego was so surprised as she asked why Mbeke would throw away her pot of water. "You witch, do you think I don't know your plans? Osu like you think I don't know you are seducing my prince? Because you managed to grow small buttocks and chest, you are now carrying yourself like a princess. Better stay away from my prince because we are destined to be together." Mbeke bashed at Ego. "Mbeke, I don't know what you're talking about. I only went to fetch the water you requested. It is even in the middle of the night, but I still went to fetch water for you," Ego said, almost crying. "Do you think you can deceive me, you little witch? Better watch your back in this house, because if I see you near my loving prince, Obim, my heart, I will make sure you regret your life," Mbeke lashed as she stormed out. Ego sat down on the bare floor, sobbing. Life hasn't been fair to Ego. She is a beautiful girl living in a village called Umofia. Ego lives with the family of Umu Kereke, and although she has been with this family since she was a baby, she knew she wasn't part of the family. She was addressed as an Osu, which meant she was among the group of unwanted people in the village who were believed to be dedicated to the gods. Innocent Ego wasn't even sure how she became an Osu. She doesn't even know her birth parents. But her sister Mbeke made sure she was reminded of her origin every day. As a child, she was mistreated by her sister Mbeke and Mbeke's mother. She only experienced genuine love from the person she addressed as her father, Mazi Okereke. Mazi Okereke had taken her in as an infant and tried to treat her as his daughter, but his wife Olanna hated Ego. She believed that Ego was a cursed child and should not receive the same love her child Mbeke enjoyed. While growing up, Mbeke grew up with this notion as encouraged by her mother, and as a result, she would often look for ways to make fun of Ego or make her cry. Usually, Ego would complain to her foster father Mazi Okereke. He would scold Mbeke, but it would always end up with a quarrel with her mother, Olanna, and further beating from Mbeke's mother. So she decided to remain quiet and endure her ugly fate. Ego grew up to be a beautiful young lady, with her shape finely curved. She had fat in the right places and had the face of a water goddess. Oftentimes, men would be lost in her charms and the rhythm of her finely curved body. But out of jealousy, her sister Mbeke would chase them away with rumors that she's not just an Osu, but an evil water goddess. Mbeke would connive with her friends and spread false rumors of how she is possessed every night. She would twirl and twirl at night and make weird noises. This made men terrified of her and only admired her from afar. Despite the mistreatment from her sister, mother and other villagers who mistreated her because she is an Osu, Ego grew up kind and heartwarming. She would spend more than half of the day doing chores, and in the remaining spare time, she would sing while weaving in an abandoned hut inside the woods. She enjoyed composing new songs from the people's day-to-day lives and creating different patterns while weaving. One day, while enjoying the cool breeze in the bush, Ego was weaving as usual and singing to herself when suddenly a man came from the back and carried her up. Ego was so shocked that she shouted and tried to run, but was held back by the man's tender but muscular arms. The man turned her to face him, and Ego saw the most handsome man ever. Shocked, the man immediately let her go and apologized. "Oh my, I'm so sorry. I mistook you for my sister. We played hide and seek here in the bush, and I thought I had found her," he apologized sincerely. Ego, still astonished by this man's handsome aura and even more surprised by his deep and soothing voice, replied, "No, it's fine," Ego said softly, almost as a whisper. At this point, The man looked at Ego's face and was immediately mesmerized. He stared long and hard, wondering how a woman could be this beautiful. He didn't even realize he was staring hard. Ego was staring too, for this young man was handsome to behold. Just then, someone called out from the bush, "Obi! Obi!" "It must be my sister calling," the man finally said. "My name is Obinze. Obi for short if you like." "I like Obinze," Ego said, not knowing when she even said it. "I have to go now. I hope to see you here next time," Obinze ran off to his sister. Ego was still stunned for a while and watched him run away into the bush. She sat down and continued weaving, thinking of how handsome Obinze was, his soothing voice, and the name Obinze. She was out of her body and in her head for a while, until she suddenly remembered that she had to go home. It was already evening and she needed to prepare supper before her mother returned. She starts running, smiling to herself and playing, touching the grasses and flowers as she ran. Ego got back home only to receive hot beating from her mother, Olana, who claimed she returned late when it was barely late into the evening. Today's beating was different. Ego wasn't thinking of how sad and pathetic her life was. Instead, she couldn't wait for Olana to be done so she can go and daydream in peace about the handsome man she saw today. Ego took her time to cook that day. She couldn't help but think of how masculine Obinze's arms were and how soothing his voice sounded. His gaze felt like the gaze of the full moon under the dark sky, she whispered. That night, Ego made a salty pot of soup and was beaten mercilessly for it. She cried and cried, this time passionately, wanting to be discovered by Obinze. A few days later, Obinze came looking for Ego at the same spot where he initially met her. This is the third day now, and he hasn't seen her on the spot. He assumed it wasn't her usual spot and thought of asking people in the village about her. But then again, he doesn't even know her name. He cursed himself as to why he didn't ask her name before he left hurriedly that day. He waited and waited, but there was no sign of Ego, so he left. On the 5th day, he came again, this time resolving that if he didn't see her, then maybe it was not meant to be, or she might have been a ghost. Faith shined on Obinze that day as he saw Ego sitting like a beautiful goddess, weaving and singing beautifully. No, he said softly, and Ego raised her head. To her utmost surprise, it was Obinze. She never believed she would see him again, not after she had been locked inside the house for 5 days straight. It seems you haven't visited for a while. I assumed this was your usual spot and looked for you every day since that last time we met, Obinze inquired softly. This is my usual spot too, but I was not feeling well, that's why I haven't been visiting, Ego lied. The truth is that her mother, Olana, had locked her inside the house for days without food and water. Mbeke stole a piece of jewel and accused Ego of stealing it. Not minding her own part of the story, Olana beat her up and locked her inside the house for days. Of course, she can't tell Obinze this. She barely knows him, and she wouldn't want to bother him with her sad tale. It's fine. I'm glad I met you again. Can I please know your name? She answered. Ego. Nwake Ego. That day, love blossomed between Obinze and Ego. Obinze started visiting Ego a lot, and that became their favorite spot. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the bond between Obinze and Ego deepened in a manner that seemed to draw powers from the ancient rivers of fate itself. And then came the day Obinze knew he wanted Ego by his side through the rest of his life. He planned it with care, choosing a day when the sky painted hues of gold and crimson as the sun bid farewell to the world. They met at their usual spot, the air around them vibrant with the unspoken anticipation of a moment about to unfold into eternity. Obinze took Ego's hands in his, and in the gentle evening light, his eyes found hers, a universe of emotions twirling together. Ego, Nwake Ego. From the moment I set my eyes on you, my world has been adorned with a beauty I never knew existed. Your laughter has been my favorite song, your presence my sanctuary. With you, I am home, Obinze began in his soft and sweet voice. I know life is a journey with many paths, and I can't tell the future. But this I know for sure, I want you by my side, through every season, every storm and every calm. Nwake Ego, my queen, will you honor me by becoming my woman? Ego's heart sank. She knew deep down that she had grown fond of this man. In fact, she loved Obinze. But can she, as an Osu, marry such a wonderful man? Tears rolled down her cheeks and she said, "I'm sorry, Obinze, I can't." Obinze was shocked at her answer and asked softly, "Nkem, I love you, and I know you love me too. So why can't you, Why can't you be my wife?" "There is something you must know about me. I am an Osu," Ego said, crying. This revelation shocked Obinze. He was speechless. The woman he loved and wanted to become his wife is an Osu. What will he do now? He was quiet for a long time, and Ego ran away crying. Will Obinze allow his love to conquer the Osu belief, or will he leave Ego because she's an Osu? You'll be shocked to know what happened next. Watch out for part 2 of this story. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to get more amazing stories. Bye.